Sooner Nation, welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Got a softball edition for you as Oklahoma travels on the road tonight and face Texas Tech in a Big 12 showdown for the weekend. First off, thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you're not, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Be a part of it. Also, check out the FansTop. Go to fanstop.com. Use code SURGE. You'll get 10% off your first 3 months on the Shirt of the Month Club. Also, there's a sign up for a giveaway for a quarter zip. Make sure you fill that out. Appreciate it. Appreciate the fan stop. Hey, guys, Texas Tech tonight, first of the 3-game set. Hunter, what are we looking for this weekend?
Yeah, Texas Tech, see the record on the screen, 21-5. They're receiving votes, 2-1 in Big 12 play. The one concern I would say as to why they are not ranked with a record and resume like that is strength of schedule. They haven't really played anybody, but offensively, you see it, 7.09 runs a game. They're going to put up runs. I think that's a good challenge for the Oklahoma pitching staff, as this is the first game since March 1st outside of Love's Field for OU.
Yeah, and, Hunter, you said it. This is the first game since March 1st outside of Love's Field, and in which you could say that this is Oklahoma's true first road test, right? They're obviously going to go into an environment in which you expect it to be a good crowd for every single game there. Obviously, because Oklahoma, they're the number one team in the country. And Texas Tech, they're going to want to have a chance to maybe leave Oklahoma out with the bang, because this is Oklahoma's last year in the Big 12. So you would think that Texas Tech coming into the series is maybe going to have a little bit more added motivation in a sense. But Oklahoma, man, offensively, they're rolling. And I think it starts with who is the hottest player in the country, in Sydney Sanders. She is balling. She was off to a slow start this year, but she's found it. You also have Riley Ludlam, and obviously you maybe have the best player in the country in Tiare Jennings, and Jada Coleman, she's starting to find it, and Riley Vince. So I expect this to be a series in which we see a little bit more runs scored than maybe what we have seen in past series.
Well, we'll see. And, Jackson, you mentioned, first kind of road test. And look what Texas ran into last weekend in Houston. Mm-hmm. I know a little different scenario, but Texas, I wouldn't say they played their best ball on the road against Houston, gave up a lot of runs. And if you want to talk about pitching staff, that's probably the one thing going into this weekend that I think a lot of Sooner fans are hoping to get on track. And they've only lost one game, but I mean, I don't think they would say that their pitching's been great. It's just been off a little bit, and a little bit is enough to it's enough to have challenging games.
Last week was a step in the right direction.
It was.
Maxwell shutout win against Iowa State, and then on Tuesday, the no-hitter, Kirsten Deal has just been phenomenal every time she's in the circle. Nicole May's had some struggles, but I think last weekend was a good step in the right direction.
I agree.
For that pitching staff. And now you get, as Jackson mentioned, and this is the first true road test. Every other road game was a neutral environment for Oklahoma. I guess they had that one tournament kind of down McNeese State, but really that was more of a neutral site feel to it, I would say. Now you're in the Big 12. You're playing Texas Tech, a team that they can put up runs. And how is Oklahoma going to respond for the first time? And, I mean, it's been 2 straight weeks of playing at Love's Field. That's not just for pitching staff. That's also for the lineup. You look at Sydney Sanders, 8 home runs at Love's Field so far. Is that power going to translate to a different ballpark?
Yeah. And I also do look for maybe Nicole May having the chance to come in and get her season turned around this weekend. Do we know who's starting the game tonight from when we're recording this on Friday? Have they announced that yet?
Nothing has been announced as of right now.
All right, so
last weekend, the way it went was Maxwell May deal. So maybe you see May first because Maxwell got the midweek start. But
nothing would surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if they threw Deal, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either. And it's a good pitching matchup this weekend with Texas Tech. You got Maddie Keel, who's 7-3 with the 2.27 ERA. Then you have Matty Wright, who's 6-2 with the 2.03 ERA as their top two pitchers. So those are pitchers that are limiting runs going against the offense of Oklahoma that's just been explosive, it seems like, for the past few weeks ever since that loss.
Yeah, and offensively for Texas Tech, Riley Love, 10 home runs, matching Sydney Sanders' totals for the year. Third baseman there for Texas Tech. She can hit the ball. So it'll be a good test with her. And expect Kenzie Hans to be back. She was out last weekend. Riley Ludlam there got some starts, but I expect Hansen back this weekend. So good to have her back. And you know what? I'm looking, and I don't know, maybe this is a question to throw out there to you guys, but we did it last week, Hunter, when we did our game series preview, and we were both wrong on who we thought the standout player would be. Neither one of us picked Sydney Sanders, but I'm going to go ahead and say my standout player, and I'm going to stick with Sydney Sanders. I think Sydney Sanders comes out again this weekend, and I think she gets another couple dingers.
I'm going to go on the opposite side of the ball. I'm going to go Kirsten Deal, standout player, against a very good offense of Texas Tech. You see it on the screen. Over 7 runs per game. I believe that's 12th in the country right now. Kirsten Deal has an 0.85 ERA last time I checked. I think Kirsten Deal is going to continue that streak of scoreless innings and shut down this Red Raiders offense.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go with maybe, I guess some could say that this is an easy pick just due to the consistency she has, but I'm going to go with Tiare Jennings. Really, I just think that Tiare, maybe through this year, she hasn't had that insane game where maybe she hits like 2 or 3 home runs and gets onto the scene like nationally. Okay, I should say she is on the scene nationally, but maybe to where like it isn't a nationally shown highlight from a game. And I expect Tiare Jennings this weekend to have a huge weekend in which I think she's going to hit a home run in every single game.
Wow. That'd be great. It'd be great for her to get going like that. I don't know. You look at Tiare Jennings. I think Tiare Jennings has played good this year. I don't think she's been out of her mind great, but really, if you look at OU down the lineup, offensively, other than Sydney Sanders, I don't think you can say they've been really good, but when you're talking about somebody that's just been out of their mind, really, it's only Sydney Sanders right now.
Well, Sydney Sanders is on a historic stretch right now. The last game was Tuesday. That was March 12th, and she has 8 home runs in 12 days of the month. That's insane.
Yeah.
All it loves.
Yeah, you're right. All at Love's Field, but the thing about it is they've been a lot more patient at the plate, and I think that's led to more runs for Oklahoma. And that's one thing you can keep your eye on, that usually when they're patient and not chasing balls, they hit the ball pretty well, and they have a high average, and they have a lot of runs. And they're kind of on that right now. They've been on that streak a little bit, so I think that's something to watch for. And that comes straight from JT Gasso. JT Gasso, obviously one of the top batting coaches in the country, and he's kind of got them rolling right now. And I think the pitching staff, honestly, guys, I think the pitching staff is getting close to hitting their stride right now. They're starting, like Hunter mentioned, I think they're starting to kind of get in a groove, and maybe you got 3 now that are consistent starters. And I think we talked about this with Sydney Sanders a little bit, guys, when Jeremy, I think, had mentioned about, and other people were talking about Sydney Sanders, man, she's been struggling. Somebody going to take her job. I'm not saying that about May, but when you have the competitiveness that Deal's coming out there with right now, that you got 3 starters, it really, maybe you want to be the best starter. So it's gonna breed greatness from all of them, I think.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And I think the schedule for Oklahoma really kind of fell into place pretty well, because you mentioned the pitching staff hasn't lived up to the expectations. But this weekend, to get that road test against an explosive offense, and oh, by the way, Baylor's coming to Norman next weekend. That's a team, they beat them once last year. So to be able to kind of get into the groove of things, I think that's really what Jen Rocha and Patty Gasso are wanting to see from their staff.
Yeah, and guys, I think you mentioned the Baylor. I wasn't going to mention it because it's a Could it be a, ooh, look ahead, look who's next, Baylor? I don't think you'll have that with Oklahoma. But here's what I'll say. Out of this 3-game set, I think there will be one game that's going to be a very tight game out of these 3. I think one will be. I think 2 will be run rules. I think 1 will be very, very close.
I think the looking ahead part now is kind of, until we see it happen, I feel like you can kind of throw it out the window because of they have the loss, the pressure of the streak no longer there, to where, I mean, a team that's won 3 straight national championships, they know that every single game matters.
That's true.
I think that's going to be their approach for the remainder of the season.
Jackson, sweep this weekend?
Yeah. And I think it's going to be a pretty.
Yeah, I think they get the sweep this weekend. Again, good test before you have a top, I believe, top 10 team in Baylor coming to town.
Yeah. I say sweep as well. To get 3 more wins and move on their way to Baylor next weekend. Appreciate you guys watching the video. If you're not subscribed, click the subscribe button. It's not hard. Also, like and comment on the video. We appreciate that, as always. Till next time, guys. Boomer.